Action.
What up, what up, what up, what up?
What up, gangsters?
Good morning, good evening.
What do you call a female gangster?
Female gangster, gangsteria.
Is that like Santeria?
It's like Santeria.
Brujeria?
Because it's like, you don't want to fuck with her because she will become,
Scarlet Witch.
yeah.
Okay.
She will
I kind of wanted to call him a gangsterette or a gangstet, but
gangster.
neither of those have a very nice
A
ring to them.
gangsteria sounds like almost like a pizzeria that gangsters go to because they can't go to the regular ones because they ruin everybody else's like establishment. They're like, you're not gonna put fucking mushrooms on my pie? Do you know who I am? So they're like, all right, fuck, I gotta create the gangsteria.
Gangsteria.
Where like if they even start trouble, like the guy who's behind the tables, like you can have mushrooms, you can have pepperoni, you can even
you can have whatever you want.
you can have whatever you want.
Gangsteria.
You can mix sausage and pineapple.
You ever watch John Wick movies?
Yes.
You
I
see
think,
like that hotel that they have where all the hitmen just chill and hang out.
Yes.
It's kind of like that.
That's interesting. The gangsteria.
Anyway, welcome everybody to Terrible Reception podcast. This is episode 58.
Yes.
I sounded very confident with that one. I never sound confident
I
for
know.
some reason.
Because I was thinking, I was like, all right, what was last episode? And
Haha, I came prepared. Episode 58, just because I saw episode 57 a million times last week.
I feel like every episode since we went to the living room, I mean, we've always been in the living room. We're just in a different corner. But you see now I got the feet up on this ottoman. I feel like next time I'm just going to be in a bed with covers on me with the headphones still on.
You're going to roll this in front of you and just like lay back.
Depending on like the sheets, you might get a half nip. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's going to be tilted this way.
Yeah, it's just going to be like, and then I'm not even going to like, this whiskey is just going to be through an IV. Like, it's just going to be horrendous.
Or one of those cool like glasses, the crazy straws with the glasses.
Yo, I love those as a kid. Like anytime you went to a rich kid's house, their family brought up like the twirly straws.
Yeah, those things are disgusting because there was no like easy way of cleaning those things. You know, nobody's like
never thought about
those
that.
Things.
That's why I was like, why doesn't this taste like grape juice and it tastes more like high C?
Rotten milk. And drinking milk out of that thing and trying to clean it. No, thank you.
Oh.
But anyway, episode 58 of the Terrible Reception podcast. Thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you for sticking around this long. And if this is your first time, welcome. I hope you enjoy this episode so you can listen to many, many more.
Yes.
I was doing some deep diving on some analytics on YouTube the other day and realized again, over 80% of you fuckers are not subscribed. So how are you guys going to know when we drop a video? You're not.
No.
So hit that bell notification. Well, actually, subscribe, hit that bell notification, leave us a like, leave us a review, leave us a thumbs up, leave us a little heart. What's the difference between that thumb up and the heart on YouTube? Isn't that the same thing?
I think it's kind of like they give you an option, maybe like Facebook, or I think that the person who controls the page can heart people, and then just you as an overseer gives a thumbs up. That would suck, like in like a fucking like, I don't know.
That's interesting. So, like, would you feel judged if I just thumbs up your comment?
I feel like it's starting to create problems.
Because I do both of them. I just don't know what the difference is between
Dude,
the
like,
two.
if they had that option and, like, say, like, I was your friend and I was a porn star on Pornhub, and, like, all you could do is leave thumbs up, I'd be like, oh, that's what you thought of that? I thought I put on a grand performance.
So it's kind of like a like and a super like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you like this, but you didn't super like it. So now there's like levels to likes now.
Yeah, like, because, like, you know, like when somebody gives you a thumbs up nowadays, like, I feel like it's kind of degrading when somebody, like, uses the term, like, yeah, boss. Hey, boss.
Yo, I have this thing with that fucking word. I hate it. But for some reason, whenever I'm at a gas station, I always use it.
Yeah.
And every time I say it, I'm like, oh, thank you, boss. Oh, fuck, I said it again.
My brother and I had this conversation where it was like, there's words that people use towards you, but they're really degrading. Like if somebody's like, yeah, chief.
Chief, I hate chief.
It's like chief. It's like,
I never use chief.
Yeah, that's like the worst one. It's like, you'd be like, yeah, chief.
But boss is one that I like. For some reason, I only use it at gas stations for some reason.
Yeah, because I think they use it too. Like I noticed that,
that's probably what it is.
Yeah,
too.
a lot of immigrants or people that are just starting to learn the English language. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know if maybe it's like an old school thing, you know? Like, I also had a discussion with somebody that, you know, I noticed even in, I would say, gay culture, that the term coins and stuff, like I feel it's even like it comes from like people's grandmas and stuff. Cause I feel like a lot of the time grandmas are probably more accepting or cool to come out to, or maybe grandmas are the ones to bring people in once they come out and say it didn't go well with the family. And I feel like the old school terminology fueled a lot of gay cultures, you know, like with certain terms. I'm not like get your coin is like
Hmm.
every grandma I knew had a little coin purse. You know, I don't know, like I just feel like certain, like, you know, if we deep dive into hip hop culture, we'll probably find the same thing. You know, like dope was a bad thing. So they're like, how do I make it a positive thing? You know what I'm saying? So
Interesting.
yeah.
I never thought of it that way. Yeah. How do we get here? Boss.
Chief.
So boss, subscribe to the channel, please.
Yeah, Chief, give us a like.
80% of you guys are not subscribed. Whatever. Anyway,
why would
Apple
you want to
Podcasts
do that to our business?
Yeah, man, we're trying to build this YouTube.
You trying to close us down digitally?
Trying to catch up to DJ Jules, man.
DJ Jules, y'all love
Congrats
DJ
to
Jules.
DJ
Yes.
Jules for his recent success building his YouTube channel. Like, I was asking.
You just said. He said, "Let me just add some of his in here."
It's my weird transition sound. I was talking to him the other day. I think you were there too. When I was like, "What was your key?" And everybody says consistency, right?
Yeah,
consistency is key, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
Quality is another thing. If you're consistently putting out really good quality, people will gravitate towards it.
Absolutely.
Because the other morning, he hit me up. We were talking about something else randomly, and then he was talking about his DMX remix.
Yes.
Rest in peace, DMX, by the way.
Rest in peace, man.
We'll probably get into conversation about that a little later, but
where my dogs at?
Right but he noticed that there was a jump in his numbers for his DMX mix.
Okay.
He said it was like at a solid 3,000 to 4,000 or something like that, and it jumped up like 4,000 or 5,000 overnight. And I was like, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, and he didn't know what was going on with DMX until somebody in the comments told him about that.
There you go.
He said,
I think he was doing it to like even knowing that he was in the hospital, he was trying to like put out a good vibe, and unfortunately, we lost him, man.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man, I just want to keep this positive. DJ Jules, love you, man.
Yes.
Good job with your recent success. I love seeing those numbers. I love seeing people that I care about and I genuinely support win.
Doing well.
Especially a nice guy just like him.
Yeah, man.
So keep on doing your thing. And anybody that's trying to build a YouTube channel, quality, consistency, and keep up with it. Yeah. If you're dedicated to something, people will gravitate.
It's like the foundation of a house. Like, you know, build it with good cement, build it with good quality stuff. Mm-hmm. That motherfucker will never fall.
Exactly. And people will eventually live in it.
Yeah. Yeah, Chief.
Yeah, Chief. Yeah, boss. But yeah, man, I wanted to say rest in peace to DMX.
Yes.
I posted something on our page the other day in reference to the impact that he had on our lives.
Yes.
And I don't know if I've ever mentioned this in the podcast before, but the first three DMX albums, plus the Blueprint 2,
mm-hmm.
and I forget what other album. There's another album in that mix that I always remember, and it always takes me back to a certain place because I used to live.
Ja?
Nah, it was a little after Ja.
Busta, ELE. No?
Might have been Busta.
Eminem.
I was real big on DMX when he came out. Now I just realized that.
Yeah. DMX was like, DMX to me was like one, when I saw the logo to his brand.
That X is so fucking fire.
I was down the shore. It was the summertime before we were about to, I think we were transitioning from elementary to middle school, right? And I was down the shore. I saw DMX, and the way it was written, it looked like a rock band. I didn't know how many people were in it. Was it one person? Like, I didn't get it, but I heard the music.
Yeah. It was like 6th grade or something like that.
Exactly.
When I first discovered him. Because my dad used to never he didn't approve of the music.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would listen to it when he was at work.
When he came
really
in,
low.
when he came into 4321, I don't know if it was the original, the remix, he came in like a superhero because like he was there already. Like he was doing they had Rough Riders, but like DMX was just like his own entity.
I'm pretty sure he was in the original. Maybe he was just on the hook on the original. I gotta look that up. Keep going.
He's like 4, 3, 2, 1, and like he just like he came
in.
in.
Where my dog's at? Right here, dog.
So with DMX, my first introduction to DMX was Slippin'. So Slippin' was my song.
Right out the gate. I love Slippin'.
And I bought the single. I bought the single at the CD store, and I played it every day before I went to middle school. It was a song. I just felt the pain. I think I was going through pain in my life.
It's good walking music.
It was great walking music. And like some mornings it got like foggy. It was just such a vibe. And I had respect for DMX. And after that, then I heard Rough Riders anthem.
Well, you said Where My Dog's At or 4321?
I think it's grand finale. No, it's grand finale. It was 4321 or grand finale.
You think about this one, right?
Exactly. He came in and he had the goggles on with the hat.
He's on the original.
Yeah. He was when he came in, he was like he looked like he looked like a superhero. Like his voice.
Yeah, the goggles on.
Yeah.
Now overalls.
Now, one thing I want to correct because I think we were going back and forth with like our friends group. Was it Dogman X in the sense like Dogman, kind of like some?
I think it's Darkman X.
Darkman X, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
So that's one of those Mandela effect things. You ever heard of Mandela effect?
Yeah, that we hear one thing and then because they're similar in the way you could say it.
The Mandela effect is kind of like this thing that you grow up seeing and hearing, and then years later, you still remember hearing and seeing this particular thing, but apparently it doesn't exist.
No.
Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah. I've heard of the Mandela effect, but I didn't know that was the particular definition of it.
Yeah. I don't know if Darkman X is one of them, but I'm pretty sure DMX stands for Darkman X.
Darkman X, yeah.
Dogman X makes more sense.
Well, he said that he like, they're like, why do you do the barking thing and stuff like that? He's like, honestly, growing up, he's like, I had loyalty from the pets, the dogs that I had, and he's like, I could relate to them more than I could humans.
Interesting. Yeah. I never like thought to ask why he barked and shit. DMX was just a thing.
DMX to me, like I noticed that even as a kid, from hip hop, because he was so different, even with the goggles and stuff. Like I started rocking Scullies and goggles. Even
Did you ever walk the overalls with no shirt on?
Overalls? No.
Tim's?
No, I never. There was girls in school that had T-shirts with the overalls and Tim's, and I think whether it was Aaliyah or DMX that were starting that at that time, like the girls were doing it. DMX to me, even to this day, like for me, like I have this, like I said it on podcast a couple times ago where I was like, I feel like DMX because DMX always had like the oversized shirt or like crew neck, like champion type of swag. And then he had the small short chain. And I was just like, yo, like there's that. DMX is so a huge part of our childhood.
Yeah. It's wild because what I originally wanted to say was that I remember those first 3 albums. The first 2 in particular, especially Flesh of My Flesh.
Blood of My Blood.
I always remember that intro.
Yeah.
I
remember the front cover.
Yeah.
That hit me where I was like, yo, I was scared to listen to the music because I felt like I'd be grounded off the bat.
Did I ever show you that piece that my boy John got me?
No.
Oh, man. So this is... keep getting off track.
No, it's all good.
But next. So this is a comic book artist that recreated hip hop albums with certain superheroes.
Oh, fire!
And my boy got me this one, John. You remember John, right?
Absolutely. Alman.
It's X-23, which is like a female version of Wolverine.
Yeah.
Show you really.
And it's kind of like mimicking the front cover. Oh, that's fire.
How dope is that?
That's super dope. That's super dope. But you see, like, even when hip hop starts, inspiring the geek world and everything else, it's like there's not many artists that like can do music like DMX where he got respect from like the rockers of the world, the heavy metal artists.
Yeah.
Like DMX was just like so raw. And unfortunately, like his pain, his struggle was so real. I feel like he was born a pure and good human being, but like he was just thrown into the turmoil of having to deal with
Yeah.
growing up like as a, a bad environment child, a child of a bad environment.
Yeah.
And to hear the story where, he
That shit broke my heart, bro, when I was listening to that.
yeah, man. Like the mentor you look up to, even though you're robbing cars with this guy, it's like you're doing something celebratory, and this guy fucking laces the weed blunt that you don't even smoke. You're like, all right, I'm gonna try smoking because you're my homie, and then he
trusts this guy.
Yeah, and then he laces something that ruins his man's life, his life.
So there's this is the original thought that I keep getting sidetracked with. But there's Spyro the video game. You remember Spyro the dragon?
The dragon that blows fire on PS.
Yeah, Spyro, Gex, GTA Vice City, I believe.
Yeah,
and I forget what the other video game is, but I used to play those games listening to these albums. So whenever I hear these particular songs, especially the intro to Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, it reminds me of Spyro.
That's interesting.
And it reminds me of Gex.
I love
Remember
that.
Gex?
Yeah.
So that's why I like
that was like Bandicoot days.
Bandicoot too. So it was like those things and that connection and how strong music is.
Yeah.
Because I also saw a documentary a couple years ago about music in relation to dementia. Have you seen that?
No.
And how people with like Alzheimer's and dementia remember certain things when you play certain music to them.
Okay. So that's like their link, yeah.
So now they're using music therapy to help people that have dementia and shit like that.
Amazing.
Crazy.
Amazing.
So it's, for somebody like me, God forbid, knock on wood, if I ever lost my mind or not lost my mind, but
we bringing out that flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood.
Yeah, bring all that out. Bring fresh of my flesh, blood of my blood. What else? Blueprint 2 is a big one. Extinction Level Event, Beat Nuts, obviously.
Yeah,
because I mentioned them a few times in the podcast. What else? What was a big staple?
You know what's cool?
That I would play.
I was thinking about the other day, because DMX passed and all this other stuff, and you have these circles and groups of like Jay-Z, Ja Rule. They were all part of Def Jam at one point. And like DMX, he had 2 fucking platinum albums in like 1 year, 98.
That's crazy.
I think the coolest part about this, right? Like, there's this like integrity that hip hop has. It's just like you do stuff, and like if the big homies pay respect to you, I think like it's just fire. And like to me, it's like even somewhere on the tree of hip hop, I feel like we're doing
something
due justice. Yeah, because it's like you open up for Ja Rule. Like to us, it's huge, right? Like as much as we picked up that DMX CD, we picked up that Ja Rule CD. And I just feel like a lot of times, like I gotta play back in my head, like, yo, like I gotta give ourselves a little more credit because we're opening up for big artists, and for the artists like Ja Rule that probably were in the same room as, like they were in the same room as DMX, recording records with DMX and stuff like that. And for them to be like, yo, that shit was tough. Like the Fred the Godsons that passed on that said, yo, that's tough. Yeah. Heat makers that like make Dipset music. Like, again, like a little bit of our idols or just people we look up to because they did it. They had their moment, and it's like for us to do it too. Like that's why I feel so connected to hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And it's like for even my mother, like for my mother to remember DMX, she's like, I remember DMX's music. I remember when you were a kid, because like again, me and G would just be bumping "Party Up," Rough Riders anthem. It's an energy. Like when you're a kid, I guess you carry that part of your innocence that feels the energy, the pain, the excitement that artist put into the record at the time. And like for you and I to influence, even when Jimmy's So Dope, the way we wrapped up that last video, like I don't know what we were doing to maybe a little younger generation, to the older generation, because we had a whole mixed crew. but like you never know how you're inspiring people. And if
Yeah.
people never gonna even tell you, I think it correlates and exists exactly with what you said in the beginning of the podcast today. It's just like you just got to keep putting out great shit, because even if it doesn't particularly slap on a commercial popular level, like the whole
Viral
world,
level, yeah.
the whole world doesn't hear it, it doesn't mean that you're not still
Influencing
doing
somebody.
due diligence
Yeah.
of doing something right, because hip hop's supposed to do right.
Right.
You know, so like whatever we added to hip hop, where we've been around the greats and they can applaud us, you know, like the people before them. I think it's just like, you know, when people like DMX pass away, I feel like, you know, we lose a part of ourselves. Like, you know, like we grew up on this. They gave us life. We made it our career. And, you know, when we lose them, we lose a piece of us.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. But
like it's big. Like to me, it hits different. It really just hits different, because it's like the thing that inspired you, you know, maybe on like it's more like spiritual, like, you know, he's not suffering anymore or something. But like,
yeah.
a part of you is like, damn, I aspire to be in the same room as him one day. You know, so like the Machine Gun Kellys that became the artists that got on, like even more power to them. Like that honor of DMX saying like, I fuck with your music, like I fuck with Machine Gun Kelly, and Machine Gun Kelly putting in that hard work with his team, being inspired by artists like that. Like again, it's another story on another level. But hip hop's a family, you know what I'm saying? Like I think it's just so dope.
Yeah. I mean, that's a testament to how influential music is, right?
Yep.
We've been doing, like you mentioned, we've been doing music for quite some time, and we don't know when people are fucking with our shit unless they tell us. You know what I mean? It's like we put our content on a regular basis, whether it be the podcast, photos, videos, music, when we get back to it. And we don't know who likes our stuff.
No.
Unless they verbalize it.
Exactly.
You know, or send us a message of some kind. And it's funny because Majid Jordan dropped a song the other day, and several days before that, somebody hits us up on the Benatton page, and then me on my personal page, because sometimes I'll take a day or two without like going on the Benatton Instagram page, because we don't have any content coming out right now. So she hits me up. She goes, "Hey guys, are you guys still making music?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, we've taken a break because of everything going on, and we're actually in the works of like putting out some content, working on new music, working on this live stream performance that we keep talking about. And it hits me that even just this one person who lives across the world is anticipating our music kind of makes me feel like what we're doing is very important. Right. It also kind of builds a sense of urgency in a sense.
Okay.
Because it makes me anxious and it makes me fired up to put out more content, whatever that is,
Absolutely.
whether it's visuals or music. And it kind of inspired us to hit up Cinco, who's the producer of Muse and Fallen, to do a video chat with him the other day, and kind of inspire him to link with us. And now we're working on new music.
Exactly.
Which is super dope. So, you know, we live in not that we live in a world, but we kind of live in a world of like seeking validation at all times. As much as we hate to want to do that, we are in an industry where we need validation
to make a career in a sense.
Right.
There's artists out there that I know that are within our circle in Jersey that I had a discussion with them, and like they almost broke down in tears because they said, I don't feel I'm good enough. With all the projects I've put out, I still don't feel I do what I do well. And it's crazy because we do, like you just said, like that seeking of validation to make a career off of what you do, because you're nothing without the fan.
Right.
So you could make music all day, but like if the fan's not applauding you or passing you along, it's like you're stagnant.
Yeah.
So you, in a sense, it's all connected. Every world needs each other.
Yeah. And something you said a few episodes ago kind of stuck with me. And I kind of like that you said it out loud because I
Mhm.
kind of felt this way as well, where it's like, in particular to music for us,
Mhm.
because it doesn't bring money in for us. We do it
No.
because we love doing it. And it was our
Yeah.
first love. Um, we don't feel that sense of urgency to want to blow up.
No.
We would love for it to happen.
Mhm.
But if we put out a song with the intention of like, okay, this is it, this is gonna get us out of here, then we're losing the reason why we originally started doing this.
Exactly. And I've
You know?
gotten lost in that a lot of times where
Yeah.
I had to say, hold the fuck up.
Right.
I said, the late nights where I'd lose sleep to only have an hour before I have to go to work and it's 7:30 in the morning, that love has to be as pure because that's the same love that inspired the people around us. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit that got the dream catchers popping where we're like, we're gonna be the next fucking Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Right. And then the next fucking Wu-Tang didn't happen. But now
We were supposed to be, at least in my head and the direction that we were going, we were supposed to be the original ASAP Mob
yeah,
or the original
absolutely.
what's Tyler's crew? Tyler the Creator?
Oh yeah, the Wolfgang.
Wolfgang, or
Yeah.
who's that hot right now? Brockhampton is hot
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
So along those lines, because we were like a collective of artists who come together and we're like this one large entity, but separately we were individual artists.
Yeah.
Which is
If you
super
didn't
dope.
hear of us, okay. If you heard of us, you already knew what it was. And it
Right.
was kind of like we were ringing bells in other states
Right.
back before even the internet was popping the way it is now. So it's like, again, like
Were we putting music out on MySpace, or that was a little after MySpace?
we were doing
'Cause
MySpace,
I
and
know
I think
originally,
SoundCloud just started emerging.
yeah,
So like we had that outlet, and after a while, that's when we got the call. This is the funny thing, and like again, we probably said this story tons of times, but somebody that somebody knew at the BET Awards was like, listen, there's this crew in Jersey, and they're doing it right now. It's the Dreamcatchers, and that's where Jay had to come in.
Mhm.
He pulled his strings to get us out there financially.
Did something strange for a little change. Know what I
He
mean?
did something strange for a little change, but it grew this whole thing where it's like Jay and I still had these nucleus vibes of what, even under the craziest times, we had to keep a lot of shit under control. And it's still to this day, you know, you don't burn bridges and this and that. And it's still, we kept a lot of doors open.
Mhm.
That gave us a lot of insight to other connects and networks that
Mhm.
just made it happen. But it's kind of like, again, when you're about to be like, Wu-Tang is legendary, right? Like they're their own thing. So I don't want to even make that comparison. But when you are about to be the next Wu-Tang of your area, the next ASAP Mob of your area, especially for Jersey, because a lot wasn't coming out of Jersey. Like we had a lot of people behind us on like,
Mhm.
I don't know what it is about mobs or groups. Like it just, I guess like people could choose their favorites, like the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
It's just fucking cool.
Mhm.
And, to this day, now it's like we have Naughty by Nature. Like, doesn't matter. Like, we know Tretch, he recognizes us.
Mhm.
He shows us love in the streets. You could be Lil Z. A lot of Jersey has that people respect that. It could be Redman. Redman came up to me and Jay and he was like, yo, your shit is fire. Like he took time to listen to our shit. So when Eminem's favorite artist is Redman and that Redman's giving you compliments, it's like, you're on the right track.
Yeah.
And I don't say that, again, I don't do this to like drop names or whatever, but there's a prestige, there's a respect, and there's that recognition that you strive for in this life. And if you act like you're not trying to do it yourself, you're
Mhm.
fucking lying to yourself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like for you and I to work as diligently and as hard and being as respectful as we can in these meetings to these people, not being dicks, not being ourselves, not coming out of pocket, and still getting love, like
Mhm.
excuse me.
Mhm.
You know,
That's why it was so dope to see Jimmy's reaction, right? Because we met Jimmy, well, maybe like a little over a year ago,
I had no clue that was coming.
and I had no idea that was coming. So for anybody that didn't see the episode, the end of the episode with Jimmy, episode 56,
Yeah.
we made this connection where he realized that we were part of the Dreamcatchers, and at the time, we knew what we wanted to do, but didn't know we were already doing it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Exactly.
It's like we knew we had potential as a group, and where we wanted to go, but we didn't know we were making that impact right then and there already.
Sometimes you're struggling so hard to survive, you don't know somebody's looking at you and getting hope to survive on their own too.
Right.
Whether it's like you're just trying to make it, they're not even starting the journey of making it, but like you're giving them hope to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's the dope part about just human interaction and energy in general.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess what we're trying to say, or at least what I'm trying to say, and you can correct me or add if you have anything else, but as what the hell is that? Is that a gnat?
just flick it.
Bye.
I was gonna make a big joke about that, but okay, go ahead.
That just made that connection. You see what I'm talking about? We'll talk to you about it off air. What was I saying?
You say you're rounding up what
right. So as creatives, as difficult as it is, because we struggle with this every single day with Instagram and all the social medias, where you're putting out content and you feel like you're not getting the love that you're supposed to be getting.
Mm-hmm.
You have to love yourself. You have to love your content before you can get to a place where you can put things out there.
Yeah.
Because we get lost in it too. It's like you eventually get to a point where like you put out a hot photo, or you put out a hot video, or you put out a hot song, and it doesn't get the traction that you think it's gonna get.
You don't get love, you don't get likes, you don't get responses.
Right.
And you're like, what am I doing wrong? Why do I have so many haters?
So you start getting into your head, you start creating these little stories like, yo.
But some people want to do that. Some people don't understand the struggle.
Right. So it gets to the point where, like, basically what I'm saying is, love your shit first. Make sure what you're putting out, you love. And remember why you're doing it.
Exactly.
Because the group of friends that you're mentioning, if they're the same ones that I'm thinking about, they put out dope shit.
Absolutely.
And I can see where they feel they're not getting the recognition they deserve. But at the same time, they have to be confident in themselves to know that their shit is hot.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Because we have a catalog of songs that, to this day, I feel like it's very, very fucking dope.
Yeah.
And I can say that confidently. Because I can go back into our SoundCloud and delete shit if I feel like it's trash.
If you feel this is trash, then it's gone. And the same thing, DMX said it, is the words of DMX, where he's like, one of the last things he said fame is a beast. It's a motherfucker. He's
say it in his voice, man.
He's like, fame is a beast. It's a motherfucker. And then he's like, he was just like, he was so adamant about that, because he's like, if you don't know yourself, if you're not in tune of knowing your shit is hot, or this, you'll get caught. Or if you think your shit is doper than it really is, you get caught up in both sides. And at the end of the day, people will eat you alive, whether they're coming for your money, or they're coming for your girl, they're coming for your lifestyle, they're coming for your family. And it's like,
that's another thing too. You have to know, you have to be surrounded by people that will tell you the truth. And I think we've mentioned that a ton of times on this podcast, that you can't be surrounded by yes men. No. If you're putting out trash, somebody has to tell you, like, bro, you could do better.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love about our dynamic, is like, I'll write something or you'll write something. Like we did this the other day, where it's like you send us a melody in the little chat we have with Cinco, and
the honesty is real.
The honesty is real. And it's not like, oh, that shit was trash. It's more like, oh, try this or try that. I love this, but tweak it a little bit here.
Because people don't realize too, the music industry, it's like 50 people working on that one song you love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like out of those 50 people, you're creating a piece, one, to last forever, two, that if 50 people like it, all right, now we got so many different minds and tastes that, like, all right, the majority is probably gonna like it in the end, right? So there's two sides to that. There's 50 people work on the track, that, or there's a million people working on your favorite movie. You go to watch Batman, you go to watch a Marvel DC movie. You know how many people work on the special effects? You know how many people are cutting up the audio tracks or working on different pieces segments of the movie?
Have you ever taken the
time to really look at the credits,
the names in the credits?
That's what I'm saying. So it's the same thing when you when you go into a music album, when you talk about head of marketing, everybody that's working for their ass, everybody that's at the merch table, everybody that wrote the fucking lyrics, one guy that played one key that changes the whole arrangement of the fucking song. All these things are going into this work, and at the end of the day, when you're doing it by yourself,
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
You should. Another thing I would say to these guys, if you guys are watching and listening, is you guys are doing it yourselves. You guys are. If you're not doing it yourself, you're doing it with a very small group. Like you'll see like the Drakes. If you see the credits of the songs, there's like you said, like 20 to 30 people on the song. And you and I, maybe a producer, maybe a third ear, maybe Jules will jump in.
A mix engineer.
It's a max of what, 4 or 5 people on a track?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we have to be proud of that.
Exactly.
To know that we did this. We do this. And we've done this.
And Khaled said another very strong point. I don't agree with a lot of things Khaled say. Sometimes he's like corny to me, but
what if he says we the best? Do you agree with that?
I mean, he's done a lot of things to be the best, but also he has a lot of work to do. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of times he wanted to be the best and get rid of weight, and he hasn't. So he still can't be the best.
Damn, son.
No, but at the same time,
which bank are we in? Hold on,
I don't even know.
The sound bank.
But
continue.
Khaled said one thing that stood out to me, and he said, "Don't second guess. Like if you really, you know how we have that thing with us." You still haven't used yours. You have 3. I have 2 left. Again, just to remind you guys, if you're in business with somebody and you're really adamant about something, you feel like it's going to change.
Wait, do we reset? Did we say that we
it's
have
yearly
every year?
Yeah, every year.
All right, we'll still have 3.
All right, so we both have 3. There's times where I'm super admin in the room and I'm like, Jay, this needs to be the lead on this track. This needs to be the melody. This needs to be the verse. You can't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
And
to get specific, in Brand New, there's these horns that Rich put on the song that for some reason really bugged the fuck out of me.
They irked the shit out of me.
I don't know whether it was a sensory issue for me or
it sounds like hands on a chalkboard to this guy.
Right. I don't know what the fuck it was. So
nails.
You pulled that. What'd you say? Horns to a chalkboard?
No, I said hands. But I was like,
just like
no, but I was like, it's nails. I was like, yeah, no.
That's a pleasant sound.
It's a pat sound.
So the horns on that song really, for some reason, I don't know why. I don't know if it sounded cartoony to me or what the fuck it was, but for some reason I didn't like them.
Yeah.
I kept on telling you I didn't like them, and you pulled your card, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I had to.
Fine.
Because like that's the thing. Like when you might be in a room of 50 people, right? Like not everybody's a tastemaker, right? So like I feel like when Pharrell created Grindin', somebody's like, yo, add some more instruments. It sounds kind of hollow right now. And you're like, no, bitch, this shit is perfect.
Right.
And it's like, sometimes you got to stand your ground as a creator when everybody else is denying you in the room because like you might have a vision for the future or you have a sound that's going to change the fucking game.
Yeah.
So like in the sense, like that didn't change the game. But
it changed the track because several people have told me, yo, I love the horns on this song. I was like, I fucking hate them.
So that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes you gotta like stick to your guns and like stay, true to your roots. And then you might influence somebody. So like that it might have been Busta Rhymes where somebody's like, yo, slow your roll, you sound too crazy or this or that. But he's like, no, bitch, this is the illest shit the world's ever gonna hear.
You know, it's funny, we pulled that card with another producer that I don't want to name, but on one of the songs, Fallen. Was it Fallen? No, Muse, where you did that little...
yeah. I wasn't even singing. Somebody's like, yo, you got to fill this in. Like, there's no words. And I said, honestly...
You brought that to me, and we both looked at each other like,
no, we'll keep it. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to me, it's like, if you break the rules, you make the rules.
Right. You don't always have to follow this mold
No.
of like, okay, verse, hook, verse, bridge, hook,
It's like
outro.
it's the guy who like dipped French fries in ice cream for the first time. He's like, I know this ain't right, but
It feels so
so good.
good.
And it's like sometimes you just gotta rock out like that. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. But
Huh.
for us, we felt like that was gonna hit,
Boom.
and we kept it that way. I love it to this day, and a lot of people that I've been around, that's the most memorable part of the song.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I'm glad we kept it there.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, again, when you want to pave the way as an artist, like when you want to be the danger hands to a Timberland, somebody that already established something, but you're like, yo, this sauce can be even spicier. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an important role. You know what I'm saying? When people are like, damn, who recorded that? Or like, who created that sound? And you're like, Danger Hands changed the career for Britney. He brought her back. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Justin Timberland, Sexy Back, or My Love.
Did you just fuse two people together?
I might have.
You said Justin Timberland.
Justin Timberland.
Which
Because,
makes sense because they both work together.
I mean, there's not a lot of Timberlake without Timberland. You know what I'm saying? So,
what is it, 2 albums? 2 most memorable albums.
yeah,
too.
because Pharrell
The other-
did
Pharrell did the first one.
Pharrell did
Primary
his
River.
thing with Timberlake, but
I
it's
think
not what
he
Timbo
did. The
did.
stepping stone.
He did the stepping stone, but what
Timberland and Timberlake.
fucked it up.
I don't think anybody.
No.
And I'm biased because I like Timberlake, but
Yeah.
can we go back to because I have one of these topics that I've had for a few weeks. But we've had so many guests that I didn't know who to bring.
I just
it up
felt
with.
like that had to be said because a lot of the times I don't want to sound like, okay, you don't want to sound like you're tooting your own horn, but at the same time, you got to toot your own horn to let people know around you that you're here.
Yeah, I like that. Fuck. Yellow.
That's all good.
See, now I'm fucked up because this used to be this way.
No, it's all good. It's all
All
good.
right. Well, say that one more time.
Sometimes you gotta toot your own horn just to let the other people know you're here. It's like, I'm outside. You ready to go?
I like that.
You're not doing it to be like an aggressive bastard. You know, there's a nice toot of the horn. It's like, beep beep. You guys ready to go? And
That's
then
what
there's
what I do when the light turns green. Not that person that's just like, I'm like that beep beep.
That beep beep.
Like, yo, what's up? Get off your phone.
It's crazy.
Let's go. So what I wanted to bring up was it's like a random ass topic that I was thinking about when we did the Bryson Tiller story reading the other night. I don't know if it's just me because I'm kind of out of the loop with certain music things, but I don't think he gets the love that he deserves.
Absolutely not.
Because I was thinking about this the other day, right? And Bryson Tiller, because I was also talking to Black Mike randomly the other day.
Okay.
Just randomly about some shit. And it kind of brought this into my mind too, because I was thinking about Bryson quite a bit since that storytelling. And it's funny that Black Mike hit me up after that.
Wow.
Fucking universe. But my thing is, he basically created a genre of R&B.
He did.
Or a subgenre of R&B.
Because trap soul, yeah.
He made that popular. I don't know if anybody before him that kind of made trappy R&B that I can think of.
No, I think he really, like he's going to be recognized for that. Not particularly now, but in the future.
Because there's so many people doing it now.
He was the new generation of R&B. Like whatever minuscule evolution of just merging those two. Like whatever he did rhythmically or singing, it was like, because even nostalgia plays a part where you're like, oh, you're that good ass top line R&B vibe from the 90s, but your undertones are modern day, again, trap music.
Trap drums, yeah.
So when he mixed or when he came up with the term trap soul, his crew, whoever did the marketing, genius. Because like, again, what we know today, what's the other artists that do it?
Anybody that does R&B is doing that style, like
Summer
Walker.
Yeah, Summer Walker. Even The Weeknd, like when Bryson started entering the game, I heard, who do you give it to? Actually, well, I might have to step back on this one now that I'm thinking about it, right? Because It's tough. I think he perfected something that people were trying to do. So it's like Drake.
Mm.
Drake might have been trap soul, but Bryson Tiller said, "Hold up."
But did he predate trap soul? Because I know he did R&B.
Drake was trying to do
R&B.
R&B through his interludes, and he
Right.
was throwing it in there because he was still coming out as a bars rapper,
Right. But
right?
it wasn't very trappy.
It wasn't trappy.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think you're right on like more the.
As far as I know, unless there was like some less known artists that I've never heard of.
I mean, there always is.
That I'm not thinking about
Yeah,
right
and then
now.
somebody's like takes that, but
Yeah.
but like I said, they perfect it.
Right.
So like I
And
think
put it in the
that
forefront.
Bryson Tiller, it's tough because I think people don't give him props because he didn't want to.
He doesn't want all that attention.
He didn't want the attention. He didn't want to be in interviews. He's just now showing his face, probably because his girl or his team's like, listen, like, you got a career out of this. You worked so hard to get here. Don't let it slip because you want to be nerdy and play video games all day. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's like a groundhog.
Yeah.
He'll come out
That's a perfect example.
once or twice a year.
Absolutely.
Drops an album maybe once every 2 years, 3 years.
You preaching right now.
It's a groundhog.
That was the simplest shit, but like Bryson Tiller's a fucking groundhog.
Yeah. And he does what he does. I mean, he does what he does very well. He'll drop maybe 1 or 2 videos. He has a total of like 5 videos out.
Yeah.
You don't really see his face. He's done a couple features.
Do you think he has good videos?
Um,
Sorrows blew me away, but everything before it, I don't remember.
I remember the Don't video being very simple.
It was
From
like
what I remember.
in front of like
It's like one of those.
It was in
like,
Cali. It was just like,
just a simple video. I haven't really been blown away by music videos. I don't really watch a lot of music videos. There's some times where I get like where I'm on YouTube and I'll just click on something.
yeah,
It's
because
like,
it's out.
yeah, let me look at my playlist, see what videos are out or
Yeah.
if they're out. I can't think of any video at the moment that like jumps at me. Dua Lipa has pretty cool videos.
He does.
Fun videos.
He does.
Interesting videos.
I think FKA Twigs is the only one that's put out
She does
crazy videos.
Very dope visuals. Who else?
Not a lot of other, because like even me, like we were having a discussion, like we think SZA's a dope artist, but like
She's another groundhog.
she's still trying to find herself.
Mm.
If I really want to be honest about it, like she's still trying to find herself.
You know what I think her problem is?
She'd be doing too much.
Maybe. I think her problem, and it's not directly her problem, but there's too many dope female R&B acts
Right
out
now?
Yeah, because
What do you consider? Oh man, this is tough.
there's like SZA and Summer Walker.
Yeah, but like if you talk about, we're talking R&B, right?
Mhm.
Because like I had this discussion with Lenny A. Natural and Lauren, right?
Mhm.
Lauren's got pipes. Like Lauren can sing her ass off. She can carry any fucking song you throw at her, right?
Okay.
She could do a Beyonce. She could do a Summer Walker.
Right.
Summer Walker can't do a Beyonce.
Right.
They're saying like Summer Walker doesn't have that range where she's considered a singer.
Right.
SZA not considered a singer. Like they
Right.
can hold melody. It's like me. I can hold
Yeah.
melody. I'm not a singer.
Mhm.
But
But does that negate
it doesn't negate that it's R&B,
R&B? Right.
because Aaliyah was R&B.
right.
She couldn't really sing.
Mhm.
Janet Jackson, she can hold a melody.
Mhm.
She's not busting out. Sade,
Mhm.
she's not busting out. You know what I'm saying? Nobody, there's a difference between Sade and Aretha Franklin. Between Jill Scott and a fucking, like I just said. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a difference, but you're right. It's still R&B.
Yeah. So what's your question?
My question is like, I guess their questions as well, because they are singers and like, cause titles of singers is like singers grow up singing. They are trained to be singers. It's like, you can't call like, just because a cop holds a gun and they can kill people, you can't give them the title of an assassin. An assassin is trained to be a fucking assassin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they make R&B music. It ends up being like a subcategory R&B music. It's a tough one because even like, I don't know, what do you consider the range of like someone like Erykah Badu? Because she can sing, but she can't.
What is the
belt.
there was a genre for it back in the 90s that she fell under, Music Soul Child fell under.
Music Soul Child could sing though.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a huge fan of Music Soul Child.
Like John B was the first. John B was the first non-super singing artist that was still considered like R&B, and
so this argument is whether somebody can
sing
or not?
because like R&B comes from, we're talking about Motown, right? Motown would not sign your ass if you weren't Stevie, if you weren't Michael Jackson, if you weren't Prince, and all those motherfuckers can sing.
I mean that's
because now like the auto-tune world, like what T-Pain and a lot of people did, like even if you think about Daft Punk records, they use a lot of auto-tune and stuff. Like we use auto-tune. Chris Brown uses auto-tune because it became a sound.
Yeah.
But it also blurred the lines of, Chris Brown's, he has R&B records, he has pop records, he's got alternative. He's a pop act.
Yeah.
To put people in the category of R&B, because it's the same thing with Beyonce. She makes popular music. She's in the same.
Actually,
Madonna can't sing, but Madonna's a pop act. She sold millions of records.
So do you think we should categorize somebody like a Summer Walker under pop?
I would think so, because it's
or like, just give it a whole different category altogether.
If Summer Walker's on Billboard charts after a while, like any artist that reaches a Billboard top 100, 1 through 10,
pop music.
Pop music.
But where would you put? Because the three people that outside of
Sade's jazz to me. She's not R&B. Like she R&B jazz. Like if you had to look in that section,
I could see that.
But like,
because the two people outside of Summer Walker and SZA that sound similar to me are Sabrina Claudio, Alina Baraz, and Snow Allegra.
Okay.
All three of them have very similar sounds, very similar vibe, and they're not. Forgive me, girl, if you're listening to this, my little snow angel, but I've never seen Snow Allegra belt. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
But it's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Very similar to Sade, I would say.
And people,
all three of them.
I had the same argument again. Like anybody that I'm bringing up in this is someone like A Natural, because A Natural, we know, can sing, and he's a lot of time he's
very critical of singers.
Yeah, he calls them whisper singers and stuff like that. Right. And it's true. Like you can hold a melody, it sounds good. You throw a little tune on it, a little bit of reverb. Not everybody can do that, Like it's like Aaliyah had the look. She also had a voice. It's a vibe, and I love those vibes. I'm the first one to buy those vibes. I'm the first one to make those vibes. But also, like, again, like I think it's true what A Natural said is like you gotta give credit where credit's due. Where what made Linkin Park so dope, right? And I'll put it right here, right? Is that he was classically trained in singing opera because he knew how to control his voice without breaking his vocal cords.
Who is this?
The lead singer, the one that passed away.
Of which group? I'm sorry.
Linkin Park.
Oh, Linkin Park. Chester.
Yeah, so like Chester was classically trained.
Did you know he was in one of the Saw movies?
Yes, I saw that. He was in like the third one, right?
I think it was the
fourth.
Might have been the fourth.
I don't watch Saw movies because I hate anything that has to do with torture. But
I did know that he was classically trained in opera.
Again, so when you're classically trained in something that you know how to control your vocals without damaging your vocal cords, I think that's the same thing. Like, it's like you and I, right? If we study as photographers to be the best photographers, and we also pay for courses and say like we got a college degree and shit like that, it doesn't make us more or less photographers, but we took time to study our thing. It's like if you would, it's kind of like you would hate me or anybody else that like, say you had a talent that was like, say like Jay Suarez was the best pussy eater in the world.
Whoa.
And I sucked at it. And I was just like, okay, I can buy pussy eating skills for like $60 on the internet through PayPal, and then I buy it and I'm as good as you.
What would you call my pussy eating manual?
I would
My
call it.
YouTube tutorial.
I would call it Suarez's Tongued Out Sensual Sensation Volume 5.
God damn, that's long. It's gonna be hard to market.
No, but you know what I'm saying? I feel like we live in that world where it's kind of like auto-tune does that. So you buy auto-tune, and I'm not saying that you're like, oh, automatically I'm Beyonce. But now you enter in a bracket where somebody worked hard to
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And it's like you can't.
It's kind of like what you were saying earlier, where you said not everybody's a singer, but a lot of people can use autotune.
Exactly. Like I think
but not everybody sounds good with autotune.
For me, yeah, for me, I love creating a vibe. People like my voice, right? The number one correlation, whether it's a guy or girl, they're like, oh, you sound smooth. I take pride in just sounding smooth.
Yeah.
If I think of Sade,
and that's why
smooth.
And that's why you're on most of our hooks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like
you have a chorusy voice.
Of course, so
that sounds well on hooks.
So if my voice is pleasant to you versus the horns on Brand New, that's the difference. So it's like if my voice is pleasing to you, somebody's gonna buy for the pleasantness.
Yeah.
But to title myself or ever put myself in a bracket of like whatever, it's like just because a guy buy an A7 III doesn't mean he's a photographer, you know. So it's like in that same thing. Like I think Bryson Tiller, I've heard that he can pretty much sing. He's still like there again. I don't. A lot of people have Melodyne and stuff because first you start with auto-tune, where it keeps you in pocket. In your key, and then you have Melodyne, which nobody will ever know you can't sing. Melodyne is that top layer, that spice on the dirty meat that you can't tell that shit is 10 days old.
It's like that extra cheese on that Taco Bell meat
that it is taken away. That is grade D meat.
It's like dog food.
Yeah. So. I mean, respect to the singers. I know we got a little off topic about it, but when it comes to R&B, it's a gray area right now.
Yeah,
because we don't have a true R&B. Because, like you said, it's trap influenced with a top line from old school R&B. R&B is like to have real R&B. You got those chimes in the songs. You got the bass lines. You got the band. It's like boom, 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 boom.
I can't even think. Like the closest thing I think to that was the recent track with Bruno and
yes.
Oh, I gotta think of his name right now.
Yeah. It starts with an A. So you can sell a record now. You hold the melody.
Fuck.
I know
fucking whiskey's getting to me too.
I know it's crazy.
What is his name? I don't want to look it up. I'm trying to train my brain.
People are going crazy right now. Like they're screaming at their radios.
Bruno Mars featuring.
They're screaming at their phones.
They're in a group together now that is apparently called something else. Sonic.
Watch out, you guys! He'd be singing like that, right?
He has like very.
Hold on.
Fuck.
I'm gonna look it up on Tidal right now because I'm fucking up too.
I picture his face in my head right now. I can't remember his name.
Anderson .Paak.
Anderson fucking .Paak. Anderson .Paak.
Bruno Mars. Motherfucker can sing. Okay? Yes, already automatically because the world knows him pop music. But he's a motherfucker you can throw into R&B.
Yeah.
Miguel. R&B. I was about to say it. The fuck is her name?
Getting all kinds of fucked up here. Google, come through.
Did you hear fucking Miguel's new album too?
I did not. I saw you post about it, but I gotta check it out.
God, Jesus Christ.
And I know Carlos is listening. Miguel over Chris Brown every day because Chris Brown is not R&B. He is pop music.
He can still belt though. He can sing. So
listen, bro.
Frank Ocean, real artist.
Frank Ocean.
Oh, what I was gonna say. Where would you put Tiana Taylor? What do you think about Jeremiah's?
Jeremiah's track to track, I think.
Ty Dolla $ign.
Ty Dolla $ign.
Rihanna's the perfect example, right? They worked on her vocals for years. She couldn't sing for shit. She probably still can't like sing, but they perfected.
But she can sing.
She can sing. She can hold a melody. They sold her sex appeal because honestly, we had this discussion too. I think Beyonce as Foxy Cleopatra and Austin Powers, boo, you can get it. Otherwise, outside of that, you don't exude sexiness like Rihanna. Rihanna is like she's talking to you with her pelvis all day.
You know what's funny? And I talked about this on Twitter the other day, and I put it on Twitter. So if anybody wants to backlog my Twitter, whenever we become famous, you'll see it. I used to talk shit about Rihanna. I used to say, "What's the big deal?" La la la. And I owned up to it the other day. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Like Rihanna can walk down the street, and I would break my neck and literally probably bow down.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is about her, like her sex appeal. Like she could literally just stand there, fully clothed. Like she can wear the whole. I don't want to get disrespectful here, but what's the Muslim?
Oh,
thing,
she could wear
the garb,
like a hijab. And
everything from head to toe, just showing her eyes. And if I know Rihanna's under there, it's just like I don't know, she's carrying herself some kind of sexy way.
For all the Muslim women out there, again, happy Ramadan. All the dudes out there. I
was going to mention that too.
I was going to say that. Like, I was just like, I think that's what's beautiful too. Like Muslim women that wear, again, let me take a moment right now because I'm a French citizen. Okay. There's a lot going on in France about wearing the hijab and stuff like that. I know a lot of females and males that are from the Muslim faith, Muslim culture, everything else like that. You guys are beautiful. Keep doing what you do. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But like that has
the French. What do you guys have over there? Prime Minister? Do you have a president?
Yeah, with Macron and stuff. I think Macron is like pretty.
Is he a president or prime minister?
He's president. He's like, he's pretty liberal with stuff. But like, again, it's always that fight between the old school and the new school, and just people that are weird about it. So, again, my love on behalf of being French and loving Muslim people, period, loving the culture, loving the subcultures. But besides that, that could be very sexy too. Just seeing a woman's face and knowing she's beautiful as is, just like that too, crazy.
I agree.
Yeah. But
how do we get there?
Again, we talk about Rihanna. We're talking about Teyana Taylor.
Hey, Rihanna.
But like Teyana Taylor too.
Oh, Teyana Taylor.
What do you think?
She makes solid music. To a few Teyana Taylor songs, and I sad to admit that because I love Teyana Taylor.
She's I would say she's R&B.
I would say she's R&B.
She's R&B, right? Sing. Yeah. She could sing. She does her own visuals. Yeah. She's got sex appeal. Which sex appeal, like I guess it comes with R&B a little bit because you have the fellas like the D'Angelos that have gone naked in their videos and
I was gonna say not that sex appeal makes you R&B, but
it's part of it. It's about romance. It's about love. It's rhythm and blues.
More interesting to me, Ty Dolla $ign, because I'm a big fan of Ty Dolla $ign.
Interesting.
Where would you categorize him? Because he's different.
I recognize him because like sometimes I do melodies and I feel like, damn, I sound a little bit like Dolla $ign. And I'm like, if I can do it, then
he has such a distinct voice.
There's something behind it. He's got a lot of soul in his fucking voice. That's the thing that's like crazy. It's his voice.
But I don't think he can belt. He can't sing.
No, he can't sing.
But
because
he's like a writer, because that's mostly what he does.
I would love to be in the shoes of R&B artists or like a singer and really know what it is to harness that power where you could belt and all this other stuff. Because I'm like, damn, man. As a writer, melodies go through my head, but to be able to hit the notes that you think of is a whole different story. That must be fun as fuck.
That must be fun as fuck. Yeah.
That's why I said, like, I give it mad props. Like, I never take away from it. I'm just like, yo, it's a beautiful thing. Like, not everybody is born with that talent.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, hold on. I want to transition into something.
I was going to ask you.
That was a good conversation that
It could go on forever.
Started from like Bryson Tiller, which is crazy.
But what I wanted to say, big Cudi fan. What do you think about The Dress for SNL?
I didn't see it, which reminds me. Let me look it up right now.
Because I know you're a big Cudi fan.
I do like Cudi a lot.
People were on the fence about it because they had like
Cudi Dress.
They have that thing where they call it forgot what the term was, but Chappelle was talking about it. He said Chappelle, like he said, like when black men want to become more famous, they say the industry puts them through a very cultish thing where they always have to wear a dress and demean. I don't know.
Who said that?
Chappelle. I believe Chappelle said it. One of these comedians said it. He said like they try. Yeah. What's your thoughts on it? I mean, like, you know, you were talking about feminine energy, and that you said you feel like sometimes you're more understanding of, you know.
Yeah. I would never knock anybody wearing anything.
Mm-hmm. My first question, right? Because when I saw it, I had my thoughts about. Do you feel sincere?
It's an off-white. That's tricky. Because I would like to think that Cudi
does it for a reason.
Status that he's at is doing it for a reason. But
he said he got influence from Kurt Cobain, Nirvana when he wore a dress.
I did hear that, yeah.
When Kurt Cobain wore a dress, he wore like a very.
But this is what kind of turns me off. See that logo?
Where?
Right across the middle.
I can't see it.
Off-white?
Yeah, it's off-white.
It's off-white.
Well, it's by Virgil.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know if it's like a promotional piece. Virgil's like, hey, wear this.
Do you feel like it's in Cudi to do that from everything that he's done?
If anybody would, it probably would be him.
I know he has respect.
I just like don't like how this dress looks on him.
Right? Like for me, it's like I have respect for everybody in LGBTQ, but I wouldn't go out of my way or out of pocket to wear a dress unless it really had a reason or it was dope. Like I saw people saying like, yo, Young Thug killed it with the dress in comparison to this because this just looked like it was in poor taste, or it looked like somebody forced it on Cudi.
Yeah, it does look a little forced. It does look like it's in poor taste too. But at the same time, I would hope that he's doing it for all the right reasons.
I just don't understand. I just don't understand the reason outside of like, okay,
attention.
Yeah, because like again, like if
what did he perform?
Huh?
Why is he performing at SNL? Did he drop a new song or something?
I don't know. Well, he had the new album, but like I guess he hasn't really been out there with that.
Months ago, no?
Yeah. But it's just late, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like think about it. It's like for me, I feel like if I'm gonna wear a dress,
it's gonna be the hottest dress on the fucking planet.
Like I love,
and it fits me.
Yeah. Like for me, like Billy Porter, right? When Billy Porter did the half tuxedo, half dress, something about that. Even me, like I'm straight male. Like I could fuck with some things that are unisex or whatever. And I saw it, I was like, that's a dope concept, right? It hit me. It didn't seem unnatural, right? I know he's gay, and even if he wasn't gay, like if I saw somebody doing it, had more art appeal.
Yeah.
Versus this looks like.
It looks forced.
It looked like Cudi just went into his mom's like or his sister's like thing and tried to fit something on. It wasn't even fitted to him, right?
No, it looks like it's a little too tight.
It looks too tight.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not feeling sincerity coming from whatever movements behind that. Or
I don't want this to be a race thing, but have you ever seen Harry Styles in a dress? That motherfucker can pull off a dress. Look at this guy.
Yeah. No, because like even for me, like if if you're a Scotsman and you wear the top and you got the skirt, like that's where it kind of starts, right? Like Scotsmans wear skirts, and it's not gay in the Scotsman's culture. It's just it is what it is. But
here's the Billy Porter one. This one.
Yeah. Like I said, Billy Porter killed it. Like there's a finesse. There's a thought out.
Yeah.
It just felt thought out, you know.
There's a thing to it, yeah.
I
feel like Cudi was just like, Virgil was like, hey, I designed this dress. Do you want to wear it? He's like, fuck it, sure.
Because Cudi's also kind of like he's I don't want to say rustled feathers. He's started conversations when he wore a crop top during.
I was just about to say that, yeah. He's the crop top wearing guy,
which is cool. Because even that, I felt like, all right, he's emphasizing 80s culture. it felt more natural for
Yeah.
him to do that, and I wasn't mad at it. Versus this, I was like, I don't know,
I
man.
think I would have liked to see him in something more kind of like what Harry Styles is wearing in this photo.
Yeah.
Where it's like maybe a leather jacket over the dress.
It just
Not that particular dress. 'Cause
That's what I
I don't like
said.
that dress. That dress look ugly as fuck.
It looks like he was playing Pretty Pretty Princess with his
Right.
his niece, and he got caught up in the game.
He was like, "Oh shit, I got a performance." But yeah, like something like this. Like if he wore something like this with a leather jacket, that's something
I don't
that's
know.
like screams
Yeah.
Cudi. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it.
No.
Random topic that I found today, actually this morning. Did you hear about this bacteria incident? It's not an incident, but there was a random ass report that I heard about today that I had to like cross reference and fact check.
Okay.
These scientists actually screenshotted the article so I can get this correctly. So excuse me as I pull this up.
It's all good.
So let's see. La 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 la. So apparently there's something called the Belly Button Biodiversity Project.
Belly Button Biodiversity Project.
A couple years ago, a group published results of their first of many experiments in which they swabbed 60 belly buttons and identified a total of 2,368 species of bacteria.
What are you talking about? Swab belly buttons?
Yeah, like they swabbed belly buttons.
Oh, swabbed. I thought you said swapped.
No,
I
swabbed.
was like, how you switching belly button? Look.
Oh
yeah, I got your belly button.
That's a whole different unit in the belly button biodiversity project.
What are we, fucking Cabbage Patch Kids?
So they swabbed 60 belly buttons and identified a total of 2,368 species of bacteria. People's individual profiles were snowflakely, bacterially unique. What's even more interesting is that they reported that 1,458 of the species may be new to science, and some of the bacteria were entirely out of their known context. One person's belly button harbored a bacterium that had previously been found only in soil from Japan, where he had never been.
Interesting.
That's wild.
I think belly buttons are beautiful. Like, we don't give them enough attention like we do like even breathing. Like, we don't give credit to our breathing. Like, we do it every day. It's just running in the background like a hard drive. And it's just like, damn, I should have shown. Because we don't even think about it. It's like when the hard drive's gone, because I'm talking about this personally right now. When the hard drive's gone, you're like, fuck, you were so beautiful. And now it's
did your job so well.
You did your
so
job
many
so
years.
well for so long. And it's kind of like the same thing with breathing. And it's like your belly button, right? Your belly button, symbolically, is your connection to your mom, right? It was the first source of your food. It was like your first disconnection.
This is getting into some wild shit.
I know, you know what I'm saying? It's like your belly button is your first separation in life.
I think you're saying the belly buttons are beautiful aesthetically.
No, it's like I would say symbolically, because it's
no
like,
offense to anybody with an Audi belly button, but Audi belly buttons are weird.
They're really weird.
But I can't talk because I have a really deep belly button.
Yeah.
And it's like really annoying to me because I find all kinds of lint in it.
Dude, that's the same thing with me. Like, I feel like it's a cyclone for lint. It's just like,
I have no idea where the fuck the lint comes from. Like,
it comes from the shirt. It's just keep rubbing it and it collects it.
It's crazy.
It's a vortex. But that's what I'm saying. Like, your belly button is your first love and it's your first breakup.
See, I never thought of it that way, but you would be the one to think of something like that. So continue.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the same thing with like when I did further studies about like women giving birth and how like the natural way of doing it is versus like what happens in hospitals. And it's interesting too, because your belly button, like a lot of the times they cut the umbilical cord prematurely, because the umbilical cord goes through a process once the baby is born. Like, once it's like the human body is fucking insane. And like, again, as much as we gave ourselves props, like, hit the applause button because
say it first,
because
to see if I agree
the human body needs more props on what it does, like, in general.
Shout out to the human body. You're doing your
human
thing.
body. Yeah, because like the human body is like, I learned that in hospitals they cut it off early, right? we're living in an age of vaccines and everything that's supposed to replace things that sometimes like come naturally. So it's like for me, um, there's supposed to be this like you're supposed to keep the umbilical cord connected to the mother and the child for at least a half an hour after the birth, because there's one last transfer of genes and chromosomes that come from the best qualities of the father and the best qualities of the mother. And those are transferred into the baby that become immunity from the father and mother, the best qualities. So if the mother doesn't have allergies, the baby gets it.
What if they have shitty?
No, those don't get transferred. It's
Okay.
life's gift.
Okay.
So if your dad doesn't get
Has
sick,
allergies, gets sick all
yeah,
the time.
yeah.
It doesn't transfer.
So if your mom doesn't have those qualities, that's built into chromosomes that goes into the baby in that last half an hour. It's the last feeding from the umbilical cord that builds the baby's immunity for life. It's like the last feeding. It's kind of like a discharge that comes from the mother.
Mm.
And a lot of times in hospitals, again, this goes deep, and I kind of like love it. Even as a
I know you've mentioned this a couple times.
yeah,
off air.
as a man, like I really think this is interesting. Where like most animals in nature give birth squatting because gravity helps in making the birth is never easy. I'm not gonna talk shit about it, but it's supposed to be like again, mothers give birth like a lot of mammals squatting and stuff like that, and that's the way it's supposed to do. Versus hospitals, you lay on your back and then they induce things, and then you're getting shot with like certain other things that like numb shit. So again, natural birth, some people can do it, some people aren't built for it. It's funny, like we're talking about natural talent from singing. I feel like there's some females and guys in the world, like you're not really equipped to be the reproducers in this world.
Damn. I was gonna say I could have been Beyonce, but they cut my belly umbilical cord too short.
That's what I'm saying.
Too early.
There's certain science behind it that I think is just beautiful because things come naturally in life. Like when it astonished me. Again, this is not just the whiskey talking. It astonished me when
partially the whiskey talking.
Partially, but when I saw like when I first adopted my first kitten, even though I'm allergic to them, Ichabod.
Ichabod was a weird cat.
He was a weird fucking cat, but he was also incredibly smart.
I think he had the hots for me.
He definitely had the hots. He was like,
he would make some.
He would talk some weird shit when you came around. When I never heard those until you came around.
Yeah,
but when he was a baby, like when he's the less size of the cell phone, when I saw him take a shit and just like dig it up and like I was like, in the world of nature, nobody taught you how to do this. It's like genetically in your system to just know how to survive.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like, again, it's the same thing with the whole like birth movement and belly button, that it's like, okay, you get bacteria in there. It's a fucking vortex for lint and all this other shit. But it goes so much deeper where it's like
lint vacuum.
We think of the wheel that was invented. We think of the belly button that's round. Think about cycles. Everything that's life circular. Anything that gets us somewhere is circular. It's like anything, even the fucking the circle of death. When you get a Mac, it gets you somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
It gets you to a new Mac.
This fucking glass is round, but it gets to your mouth. It gives you something. It's like an extension. So like anything that's round, like your eye, right? Your eye gives you insight. It's round. The sun is round. Everything that gives you a little bit of life is round. Nipples give you life. They're round. They literally feed you.
How about
the
those
dick?
people?
Your dick is round. It goes into a vagina that's round. The hole is not perfectly round, but it's round. And I think like the circle is such a fucking symbol of everything. Even if it holds back.
I don't know where we're going right now.
But you're feeling it though, right? You feeling me right now.
I'm trying to find shapes that are not round that make sense.
But you can't.
Go. Keep going.
Can't. We're talking in this mic.
I'll find one.
It's round.
God damn it.
Think about it though. Like anything that's round, it's giving life or it's getting rid of it. You put a hole in the ground, it might be round.
A coffin is not round.
It's not.
So that doesn't count.
That doesn't give you life.
Doesn't count.
No.
But you said gives life and takes life.
But even like we think
But
about
the coffin doesn't take your life.
we think about like most structures, like even our ear canal. At the end of the day, it might be a little oval, but it's still in a structure of something that's round. Our speakers, round.
Ooh.
Right? A lot of things that you just look at are round.
A
like
lens is round.
Because it looks like our eyes.
Mm.
So the sun gives us life. Our eyes give us life. Like I think again, when it comes to the belly button and everything else, it's like round.
There's a conversation started from the belly button bacteria thing.
No, but it's interesting because belly buttons are like it's kind of like life too. It gives you life. Sometimes nasty shit grows. You gotta cleanse yourself. You gotta clean areas of where it all started. You know what I'm saying? You gotta treat the area that, you know.
Your booty hole's round.
It is. The earth is what?
Speaking of nasty shit, real quick. Super random. I'm changing gears right now.
Okay.
I'm just spitballing these fucking topics that have been written down. I've had these topics written down for weeks. Actually, this one I wrote it down last week because I was posed a question by my friend Carlos. Shout out to Carlos, avid listener or loyal listener.
You know what?
Every week.
I do fuck with Carlos because he does listen. I know you're even when nobody's watching, I know you're listening.
You're listening. He asked me a question and asked me, would you shoot a nude wedding for $10,000?
Absolutely. I feel like
I'm not done.
Okay.
But you also have to be nude.
I'm doing it.
And I'm there.
I'm doing it.
For 10 G's?
Because they're used to it. They're not judging me. Like the nude people aren't really judging me. So it's kind of like natural. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody has to know I was nude there. I'm just like, I was there. I'm getting it popping. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good way of putting it.
Nude people.
I overthought it.
Nude people, like, they already established, like, let yourself be free. Don't feel judged. Like, they have that pre-context in their mind that's like, they don't care if you have perky titties, saggy titties, long dick, small dick, big ass, short ass.
That's right.
Their whole thing is, let's
be free.
Let's be free. Let's not. So I feel
I never thought of it that way. I was like immediately going to me being insecure and not feeling comfortable completely naked.
Me having to be next to you and the two other people we hire.
That's what I'm saying.
Coming out of it.
That's what I'm saying.
That changes the context. Right. But it's
so I was like, look, if I'm shooting the wedding by myself, 10 G's, cool. I'm in it. But if I'm shooting it with you, maybe 20 G's.
But maybe it's like, if I know what your booty hole and your dick looks like, including the other people, it's like, okay,
I don't think you're gonna be looking at booty holes.
No, I'm not saying that.
Bending over to get a shot,
but you never know what you. I saw you do wild shit to get a shot, so it's like,
you're right.
But I'm saying at the same time, it's like, it can only like, after I know that, it's like, come on, bro.
Oh man, I'm just thinking of like these wild ass positions that we've been in that are just like perfect for booty hole sightseeing.
It's like, let me get this audio right. And it's like, damn.
Okay.
You know what's the You know what's the funniest part? Is because no matter if you're wearing clothes or not, you still got a steady rig on where you're like,
oh my God. That's an even different story because we've never used a steady rig on a wedding. But now that I picture, it's like you're completely butt naked, but you have
got
this
a steady
like vest on. Oh man, that would be awkward.
When I start kneeling and my nuts are like cleaning the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh my God, yo, I'm running through these positions that we put ourselves in to get
wild.
certain shots. It's just
wild.
like, oh man.
You know what? I'd be
the panning, just like,
oh man. Imagine this. When are we shooting this? Is it the hot summer too? Or is it cold winter?
It only makes sense.
Is it shrinkage or is it smelly?
Dang.
Think about like.
I would prefer the summer because wintertime.
Yeah, forget about it.
Bad look.
It looks like an enlarged clitoris.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, but I was thinking about that's wild. You know, you know when I get in that zone and I kind of lay down. I got my shoulder to the side and I put my legs like this.
Yo,
I'm like,
I'm
damn.
telling you,
it's kind of wild.
I've gotten in like to get that pan. You do that like
think about it, right?
Squat and just like
think about the relationships in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you saw your girl naked, did it bring you closer? Or did it separate you? Or you're like, oh, that's disgusting.
Me personally,
yeah,
closer.
You know what's a little hard though?
Yeah.
What if
not your dick in the winter
What
time?
if honestly, in that situation, I feel like your dick becomes like a scared dog.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like you're like, oh yeah, like even if you caught something that might sexually arouse you, I don't think that you're.
Now that I think about it, wouldn't it be better in the wintertime? Because us as men, we're always judging each other by our fucking penis size. For some reason. So in the wintertime, everybody shriveled up.
But then there's always the guys that are showers versus the growers.
You're right.
And they might be swanging.
Be freezing cold and it's still swinging.
Yeah. You know that black guy that's like the meme that he's got one hand on his leg?
That's exactly who I pictured in my head when we were talking about like
somebody at the wedding is probably like that guy. And he might have the butter face, but he's going to make a couple of chicks at the wedding say,
he's the first one naked.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because that's what's tough in our world. Like, I feel that's why, like, females kind of get along. They might be a little judgmental on body shape and tit size, but at the same time, they're like, all of our vaginas are kind of the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't, the size of their boobs and the size of their ass and the size of their vaginas doesn't doesn't correlate. And again, penis sizes don't correlate to good sex either, but
because there's women with small bodies. Like I see all the thick models slimming down to become more model-esque. Like when we're talking about like tall models, like I see a lot of the girls like that used to be hella thick, like Amara La Negra, right? She's like lost mad weight. She's got like she's got like more of you know, like a jawline, exactly. Or like, you know, there's either other girls that like used to be like super stripper thick that were like IG modeling and like they're changing their ways. You know, it's like baggy jeans versus tight jeans. There's things that are in fashion and things that are not. But the thing when it comes to guys is like I even feel like females, right? Like at the end of the day, it's all fetishized. Right. So like women have fetishes about dick or whatever, but it's like you hear most girls like, oh, if it's too huge, then it's unpleasurable. But like they might just still be about it, like having it like, okay, it looks big and this and that, and they care about it, but then it's not pleasurable to them. And then there's like the medium size where it's like most guys were like somewhat above or below average. So it's like, damn, that's like perfect for them. And then there's the guys that for sure get humiliated that really don't. It's not genetically in their future or their past to be well endowed. And it's kind of like girls get on them and guys get on them. So you're right. It's like, I don't know. Is that just an American thing too? Because I think about it too. I think sometimes we get lost in American culture where it's like African culture likes a voluptuous woman sometimes, right? But like European culture, they like a nice body, but they like a tighter body, and like not all women are hella thick. Like in America, there are chicks here that look like half stallion horse and half woman, and then there's in Dominican. All right, you are the leader of like those, Dominican culture is like, whoa, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not the leader of Dominican culture.
You're not the leader. You were definitely not the leader of Dominican culture, but like,
I get it.
You get it.
Yeah.
Right. So like, if we went uptown, you'd be like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? So
I'd be like, dímelo, and everybody's like, okay.
Okay.
I get it.
But you know what I'm saying? Like I go to a supermarket in France and like chicks got average asses. They might have a little more sculpt or whatever like that, but it's not, depending on where you go. And I think in American culture, you guys, my Hispanic friends, my black friends, which I mainly grew up with, right? You guys got me into a particular type of woman.
Hey, You got yourself in this that
I might
position,
have.
whichever one.
I might have.
Listen,
But
we
at the
ain't
same
put no gun to your head. Like,
no,
hey,
nobody put
you're
a gun.
supposed to like these.
Nobody put a gun to my head, but they did introduce me to the 9mm, and they said, "This should be
Stare at it.
shooting."
Oh boy.
You know what I'm saying, though?
No, I got you. You're more exposed to stuff like that.
I'm more exposed to stuff like
with
that.
social media,
Hip hop culture.
Back in then, yeah. I would say now people are more exposed to it because of social media, obviously. But yeah, I could see how you developed that being around this.
I thought
people
about that
you're
because I
around.
said, why do I like what I like now? You know what I'm saying? Because I still like. Okay, I appreciate a Sade. I appreciate a Jasmine Sanders. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Not the thickest chicks in the world. They might have not the largest chest. But but if you're coming with that game,
1T.
I'm like, damn. But I think
that goes back to the Rihanna conversation. It's just like they carry themselves with this, not intentionally sometimes, but they just have this sex appeal to them. Like Sade,
yeah,
I don't know what it is about her.
right.
Sex appeal.
She's more like conservative with it, where
Mhm.
it's like Sade is like, I'm like looking around me. I'm like, Sade is like, Sade. It's like a foreground. It's a background thing. Sade is sexy, and it's like if you have the chance to have a sexual exchange with her, you know she's about to go in, but she's not upfront with it. Some women are more upfront with it. Like the Rihanna is like, you know, like the way she talks, the way she moves, it's like, okay, you already. I don't know. It's trickery sometimes. Sometimes those girls do that, and
I was gonna say, you know, the type of people that do stuff like that.
yeah.
Anyway, before we get into like this whole sex convo, I mean, we're already an hour and a half in.
All right,
we could like wrap it up.
15 more minutes, 10 more minutes at most.
Yeah, we could start wrapping it up. I'll save this topic for next time, but
what was that?
Just about NFTs.
You brought up great topics though, because it really made me think about things.
Gonna go bathroom and rub one out.
No, because I was just going back to belly buttons. I'm like, I can't rub one out. You're like, oh god, belly buttons.
Sade's belly button.
No. You know, I think
that's just a video I saw earlier that I found really interesting, and I had to like fact check it. But it sounded so wild to me.
But more and more, I still go back. This is gonna be a great how we're bringing up everything, right? So growing up, we're talking about influence and stuff. Like Aaliyah, such a beautiful woman, right? Like we didn't see much of her body. She probably had a body, but it wasn't like super crazy thick, this and that. But it's again a beautiful woman. I think they're just like, I'm still missing a little bit of that from like the back in the day where things were like a little more you wanted to imagine about it. You know, it's like Jessica Alba. I had a crazy crush on Jessica Alba growing up. And it's like she never just like she was never in like a straight Stunner magazine or something like that where it's like she just put it all out there. It was always like little hints of like, damn.
Have you seen her recently? She has like a TikTok account and she reeks of mom vibes.
Oh yeah.
And it's still sexy as fuck.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, where are you going with this one?
No, it's still cute and sexy as fuck.
Yeah.
It's Jessica Alba.
It's Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
Really, no, I don't know, but like that's what I'm saying. I still hope that we can give respect to the old school and take the best from it and keep carrying it. And I hope we can do the same with the new school. And like, you know, like I love a little bit of the sexual liberation from this new school of what it did to America, because France has always been sexually liberated. And I feel like America's always suppressed it to the point it became toxic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're talking about, like for me, I saw the toxicity in Puerto Rican Day parades where it's like, okay, you do have a lot of women that are just naturally curvy, voluptuous, and like, they might know that shit, but then there's some people that don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to respect it. And it's like, if sex is part of your culture and it's kind of open and less suppressive, then you respect it on a different level
I think so too.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like it's the same thing with drinking or anything else. If you hold it away from people too much from a religious standpoint, a family standpoint, then the hunger to inquire and maybe make the bad move or overindulging on your first try because you feel like you're never going to get it again, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or just being overly stimulated when you actually encounter it or come come across it after you're out of whatever it is. Because I immediately think about this one thing that I saw the other day. It's just I was playing TV in the background and escaping Mormonism popped up.
Okay.
I forget the name of the show, but it's basically like this group of people that leave a Mormon community and go into the real world. And one of the girls, I guess, got into drugs and got
Okay.
addicted to drugs because she fell deep into it. Once she came out of it, got a little taste of whatever drug it is that she was in, was chasing that high consistently, and then now she's a drug addict.
I know, and that's the problem. That's really the problem. I mean, it could go both ways, right? You could have access to it and still fuck up. Right. But that's one thing I grew up with where women were topless at the beach in France. And again, it's ingrained. If you're the opposite sex and you're attracted to the opposite sex, by period, you're going to find it beautiful somewhere down the line. But the way that I respect it, it's more natural than this like fantasy, like, oh my God, like your titties are just sexual. You know what I'm saying? I think about it of all point is like it's part of your body. It's used to nurse. It's also like a sexual pleasure. It's all those things. But I learned how to just respect a woman, period, and not be like so overly it's not like I didn't know how to handle it if I saw it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I appreciate about my culture and my upbringing is that it even helps in my clientele. Like if I'm doing a maternity shoot or I'm trying to induce sexuality in a photo, I'm not. I hope I'm not
sexualizing the person.
not sexualizing or making uncomfortable vibes for my client, rather than understanding, yo,
you have something beautiful.
You have something
beautiful.
You are beautiful. You were born with this, and I'm not here to just fantasize about one point of it. It's like, let's get this to, again, make it beautiful as let's just reflect on it like from a human being standpoint of like, as much as I can talk about like the beauty of a belly button, it's like, let's talk about the beauty of the whole construct.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm getting to.
Yeah. And I feel wholeheartedly that a community that respects the topic of sex, sexuality, and all that stuff. I don't even remember how I started that sentence. Basically, anybody that indulges in the life of free sexuality, free, expression of sexuality, of anything of that nature, respects human life in general.
I would say so.
So I listen to a lot of like, not a lot, but like 2 or 3 podcasts that talk about sex all the time. And a lot of the things that I hear is that people that are in that community or are brought up with sexual liberal standpoint, right, are more respectable of females or more respectable of sex. Absolutely. Or more respectable of other people's kinks and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I find that pretty
cool. It's because what you don't understand or what you're unfamiliar with becomes more overwhelming. So it's the same thing like with cameras, right? Like I said, like I could be overwhelming in information or standpoint to somebody that's not familiar with it, versus growing up, it's like we had softcore porn on French TV, but it was like sex was normalized rather than I caught it in a moment without it being normalized and I don't know what to do with it. So I think, just as much as people laugh in an awkward situation, in a unfamiliar sexual situation, people don't know how to handle it. And I think that's what gets a lot of people in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we are just humans, male and female, everything in between. We know how good it feels to come. We know how great sex is. There's so many parts about it we can fantasize and try to make even better. Yeah. But that's called for in those circumstances. We have to learn how to separate situations and not just fucking mukbang them in one fucking
mukbang. Wow.
You know, and just like put it all in one fucking thing.
Wow. Bukkake all over this situation.
All over. And with that said,
yeah. Let me do this outro real quick. But if anybody's watching this YouTube video, if you see me yawning a couple times, I apologize. I was up really early today.
And he has some whiskey.
I had some whiskey, and it's getting a little late. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. But thanks again for joining us. Terrible Reception Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, leave a like and a review.
You have the bell on there? I forget which one it was.
It's in a different bank.
Yeah.
But we'll consolidate this bank situation. We'll consolidate our favorite sounds on this. But what was I saying? Leave a comment underneath this video. It helps the algorithm. Leave a thumbs up. Leave a heart if you can. I don't know if you can do it on your end. I know I can do it on mine. I will heart your comment and try to communicate with you guys as best I can.
That was very political of you.
I know. But I try to, though.
No,
I try to keep up with everybody.
Good.
We don't get a ton of comments, but
I was like, where do I get my vote for Jay sticker?
The ones that I do, if you want to talk to me, hit me up. Apple Podcasts, leave a like, leave a review. No, leave a rating and leave a review. Right now we are 5 stars with like 13 or so ratings or something like that. 13,
could be worse.
Ratings.
It could be worse.
One of them is mine. I'm going to put that out there. I left the review, just trying to help the algorithm. So don't judge me if you see me on there.
We are the Michelin version of a podcast.
Yeah. I do anything to help this movement. But if you see my comment on there, ignore it. I commented on myself. What else? Spotify. I did find out on Spotify that you could hit a little button that notifies you whenever we drop an episode. So you can do that. If you follow the podcast, make sure you hit that little button that says notify me when they drop an episode. Do that so you get a notification every time we drop an episode. And Deezer, Google Podcasts, I don't know what they do, but we're on there too. Also, follow us on social media. Jetplane J on Twitter, Instagram. What else do we have? Twitter, Instagram.
Twitter,
if you want to send me money on, if you want to send me money on Cash App,
damn, drop it like it's hot.
Oh, another thing I wanted to notify you guys about that I never notify you guys about that I always try to remind myself on every episode is that I put a donation link in the description of the YouTube video and the podcast audio as well, if I'm not mistaken. It's a Streamlabs link. It says support the show or something like that. You click on that link, it takes you to a Streamlabs website
where you gotta keep the lights
where you
on.
can donate if you'd like to. Anything is helpful. You don't have to if you don't want to, but if you want to support the show in any way that you can outside of viewing the show,
come on, support the show.
Yeah, outside of viewing the show and interacting with our content, you can help us financially, and hopefully one day we can get some sponsors on the show where we won't have to depend on something like that. But we're trying to monetize everything we can so we can keep the lights on, keep you guys entertained, and keep on putting content out for you guys. So again, I'm Jetplane J on social media platforms, aka J Suarez, and my partner over here is
Trap Jesus, the one and only.
And that is a wrap for episode 58 of the Terrible Reception Podcast.
58 and great.
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us. We love you guys.
Clean your belly button, show your favorite rapper's support, and just keep fucking going.
Let's fucking go.
With that said, what do?
We hit it with the intro.
Hit the outro. What?